This is all setting the stage for Joe McCarthy
to
walk out from stage right.
Correct.
But sort of one way of seeing what was going on in Washington at that time is you had two groups of people who had you had the FBI who had been tracking all this stuff all through the 40s, had this tremendous body of information from people like Elizabeth Bentley and Whittaker Chambers who came and told it to him, from wiretaps, from following people around. And then you had the communists themselves, and who were still burrowed into various agencies of the government. And you had this one case, the Amerasia case, which didn't work out because the fixers fixed it. This is the world that Joe McCarthy came into.
That's correct. And there's a lot more than this. These are just a few examples. There are other riggings and fixings and cover-ups. It was just a constant process of trying to stuff all this FBI information back under the rug. Right here, I don't know if we can get that on camera here, but this is a chart when the Hiss-Chambers case broke in 1948. There were quite a few allegations, and you can see these in the history books too, that, well, FBI was asleep at the switch. Why didn't they tell anybody that why do we need HUAC? And they said that about a lot of other cases. So this made Hoover kind of annoyed. So J. Edgar Hoover had a whole bunch of charts made up showing the number of reports that the FBI had filed on Alger Hiss and a bunch of these other people, including Harry Dexter White and Solomon Adler and so forth. And what this shows is that there are about, probably about 30, 25 or so reports here, maybe more. They list each, you can't see it, it's too small. But this is one of the charts of the reports.
Get a bigger picture of it.
You getting it?
Yeah, but we can make a bigger one.
You can blow it up.
I'll
give you a copy.
It's in the book.
Take with you. Well, this is not in the book.
It's not.
But you're welcome to it. Now, Hoover also made up, this is the master chart, showing it looks like a spider web of the hundreds of reports that were sent by the Bureau to the White House, mostly the White House and the Attorney General, because that's the, to get something done. Also the State Department, Treasury Department, etc. And I counted 370 reports sent to 14 federal agencies, all this beginning in late 1945, mind you, and running up through the time the Hiss-Chambers case broke. So
the obvious question, some red-blooded patriotic American, if they were privy to some of this information, is here you have this network of Soviet agents and communists who have manipulated U.S. policy towards China, have manipulated U.S. policy towards Yugoslavia. Senior people in the government have been made aware of this and have done nothing. The obvious question is why?
Well, there are a layer cake of motives. The people who were really guilty and complicit, the answer is obvious. But there were other people that were not communists or pro-communists, but they had let it happen. They let it happen. The whole World War II thing, they weren't paying attention, and it's ridiculous to read some of these hearings where they're asked. And one guy was like William Remington, who was convicted of lying like Hiss about these matters, and they questioned his superiors, saying, "Well, did you before you appointed him to the job, did you try to find out if he was a communist? I mean, there were these charges." Well, no, I didn't think it was my job. It wasn't my job to do that. So this is and the others like Bill Donovan, who was the head of the Office of Strategic Services, which was heavily infiltrated by communists, asking about a guy named David Zabludowski, who was later one of McCarthy's cases, who went from OSS into the State Department, and then they finally got him out. But they asked Donovan in a hearing in 1945, well, did you ever check into whether Zabludowski was, there were charges about him? He said, well, I called him in and asked him if he was a communist, and he said no.
So
that was it. that was it.
There's a good number of people in Washington. They weren't communists. They weren't communist sympathizers, but they didn't want to get pinned with political responsibility for having let this go on.